I'm Leah, and today I want to take you back to my teenage years in France. And for a good dose of nostalgia and stories, don't forget to like and subscribe. When I was 15, everything felt like it was falling apart. My parents had divorced, and it was just me and my mom in our tiny Parisian apartment. It was supposed to be a cozy home, but it often felt more like a lonely box. My mom worked long hours, and I was left to navigate my days mostly by myself. The quiet of the apartment was deafening, and the solitude was something I struggled with every day. School was like a constant battle. I was drowning in subjects like math and science. No matter how hard I tried, the numbers and equations just wouldn't make sense. I'd sit at my desk for hours, feeling like I was in quicksand, unable to catch up with the rest of the class. It was a tough feeling, watching others breeze through, while I felt like I was constantly one step behind. Socially, things weren't any better. I'd walk through the school halls and see groups of friends chatting and laughing, while I was left on the sidelines. Lunch was the worst, sitting alone at a table, trying not to feel like a ghost. I'd watch as others connected and shared stories, feeling like I was always on the outside looking in. It was a lonely existence, and it hurt every day. Back at home, things were quiet but heavy. With my mom's long hours, I was often alone in the apartment. I tried to keep busy with TV shows, books, or even hobbies, but nothing seemed to fill the emptiness. I started feeling like I was missing something essential, and the silence only made my self-doubt grow stronger. I began to question my worth and what I was doing wrong. Social media added another layer of pressure. Scrolling through my feeds, I saw friends posting about exciting parties, trips, and events that I wasn't part of. It felt like everyone was living these incredible lives while I was stuck in my own bubble. The constant comparison made me feel even more isolated. Each new post seemed to be a reminder of what I didn't have, deepening my feelings of inadequacy. Everything seemed to change when James came to our school. He was charming and new, and he had this way of making me feel like I was the most important person in the room. Our conversations were like a breath of fresh air. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, it felt like I had finally found a place where I belonged. I was ecstatic and hopeful for the first time in a long while. At first, being with James was everything I had hoped for. He was sweet and attentive, and our time together was filled with laughter and shared moments. But it didn't take long for things to take a darker turn. James began to show a different side. He started controlling what I wore, who I hung out with, and even how I spent my free time. His mood swings became unpredictable, and I was constantly walking on eggshells, trying not to upset him. What had started as a dream turned into a source of stress and anxiety. The situation took a serious turn when I started hearing troubling rumors about James. Friends began expressing their concerns, and I stumbled upon some disturbing information about his past. It was a crushing blow to realize that the person I trusted so deeply was hiding a darker side. I felt a mix of shock and betrayal, struggling to understand how everything had gone so wrong. In the midst of the chaos, I turned to my mom. I remember sitting her down and telling her everything about James and how I felt. Her reaction was a mix of worry and understanding. She listened without judgment and offered the kind of support I desperately needed. She reminded me that I deserved to be treated with respect and that it was okay to walk away from a relationship that was making me unhappy. Her guidance gave me the strength to confront James and end the relationship. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was necessary for my well-being. After breaking up with James, I began a long process of healing. I started reconnecting with old friends and found joy in activities that I had put aside. I focused on my studies, picked up old hobbies, and slowly began to feel like myself again. Each day was a step toward rebuilding my confidence and happiness. It wasn't easy, but it was a journey worth taking. Looking back now, those years were a time of significant growth for me. Despite the struggles, I learned valuable lessons about resilience and self-worth. I realized the importance of surrounding myself with people who uplift me and staying true to who I am. If you're facing similar challenges, remember that you're not alone. There's always hope and strength to be found, even in the toughest times. So what's one challenge you faced during your teenage years, and how did you overcome it? Share your stories in the comments below. And remember, no matter how dark things might seem, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.